The first timer, I walked into the room only to find tears rolling down her cheeks, narrates Marcia. After climbing more than 10 floors to reach our room at Mary Stuart Hall, I felt exhausted enough to warrant myself a 5 to 10 minutes break before we could dive into our usual kaboozy/jazz. I felt lip-locked. I had not seen my friend like this before. I felt dumb, and yet my mind seemed busy conjuring out questions and advices to myself, wondering where to start from. I sat next to her and held her by my shoulder. I didn't say a word, but only reached into my clutch to retrieve my light blue hanky that I handed her. After about 3 minutes, she signaled to let her go and slowly laid her head on the pillow. She continued to sob, with an overcrying-induced flu starting to develop. Eventually, I asked, "Pam, short for Pamela, what's wrong?" "Preston," she said. "Has something happened to him?" I quizzed. She did not say a thing, but instead turned her head to face the side of the wall and cried again. When she turned back, I still had the same question, and she didn't answer, but instead gave me a look, one that said it all. Sadness is all I could read off it. I picked up her phone and tried calling Preston, but the phone went unanswered. With suspicions that were yet to be confirmed, I gave up on asking the questions and simply cared for her. After painfully canceling my plans with the girls, I went out that evening as the clock struck 8 p.m. to buy supper. Chips, fried eggs, and sausages is all I carried, unsure whether she would even eat. As I had expected, despite my optimistic side clutching on some remote hope, she didn't even touch it. Later that night, as I prepared to shut-eye, I probed her once more, begging to know what had happened. "Preston broke up with me," she revealed, but barely got through the sentence. "Why?" I asked, wanting to know the whole story as though she was ready to tell it. "I don't know," she replied as I flipped the switch to send the room into our usual total darkness. I reminisce waking up in the mid of the night to the concerning and unpleasant sound of her sobbing in bed. I could only imagine the pain she was going through. Her first love, Preston, had broken her heart. As I would later come to learn, he had dumped her for his ex-girlfriend. Apparently, Preston started courting Pam shortly after he had broken up with his then-sweetheart, a second-year student from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences named Audrey, residing in Africa Hall on the other side of campus. I first met Preston one late evening when he had escorted Pam back to our cottages. At the time, he had only been introduced to me as a friend. Just a friend, or a friend in quotes. I teased her as soon as he had left. "Yes, just friends," she said with a smiley face. Preston was a tall, dark-skinned guy, white teeth, a black gum with a smile, just as big, and a student of statistics with whom we shared the same college. In the subsequent weeks, every once in a while, I would ask her, "So how is our friend Paul?" To which she always responded with the same tone, but sometimes with an even bigger smile. "He's fine," she would say before adding that it's not what you think. What do I think? Whatever it is you're trying to insinuate," she would conclude before forcing a change of topic. We eventually broke off for the holidays, and when we returned for the second semester, he was one of the faces that first visited our cottages. With him, he carried a translucent blue polythene bag that contained a plastic container of grapes, a chocolate bar, ginger biscuits, and chocolate-flavored cookies. He didn't stay long, as it was already turning dark. She escorted him to the forefront of the building. When she returned, I looked at her and smiled sheepishly. "Don't say a damn thing," Pam moanished as she struggled to suppress what I figured was going to be a big laugh. I wasn't going to say anything, just that I don't have friends that bring me some snacks. "Katie Oten dies. Now you've started," she noted. It's at this particular juncture that she let the cat out of the bag, noting that during the course of the short holiday, Preston had formally asked her out, although she had yet to give him the green light. He was still anxiously waiting for that yes/okay. Gradually, they started dating. It was all fun, love in the air, over the moon and back until it wasn't. They went on a couple of dates here and there, some of which were at the university canteen. Pam, by her personal attestations, had attended a single-sex school through high school, and for that reason, she had never been in love before. Away from the primary schoolboy likings and young adult crushes, she had never been in a relationship. It's particularly for that very reason, based on observation that spanned the course of their 10-month relationship, that I came to the conclusion that with time she had come to love Preston a little more than he did. Perhaps it was just natural, but if it's for anything beyond lifelike, I figured that was the reason. Without being told explicitly, I knew that they had consummated their relationship at some point. It's for this same reason that I think she got hurt the most when Preston suddenly broke up with her. She had yet to develop the emotional airbags that we need to have in our armor but hope to never use. It's not like they even had a fight. In fact, hardly a month before, we had gone out on a double date when we attended a comedy show at Shea Johnson Hotel in Nakulabai. But out of the blue, he had started ghosting her before he could man up to say it, that it's over between them. That PNP, as we had come to refer to Pam and Preston, were no more. Although she'd mentioned it in some of our daily exchanges, I didn't think of it much as a big deal, advising that he will come around. I did wonder whether she had done or said something that could have led to this. But even a footstep trace back in the days leading to this yielded nothing outstanding to qualify for a cause. Seeing how deep in love she had been with him, her sadness evoked some heartbreak memories of my own. I had stood witness to her raw emotions, how she joyfully spoke of him. He was her Prince Charming, who she glorified. For a whole week, Pam didn't show up for class. All she did was sleep, her sad face not fading away. Sometimes she had to be persuaded to get out of bed to take a shower, while eating felt like was too much to ask. Even if you were meeting her for the first time, it was easy to read the sorrowfulness off her face, cognizing that something was weighing on her shoulder. I filled in for her with the individual coursework and notified our group mates about her absence for the unforeseeable future. For Pam, it felt like a very long, sad dream that she wanted to wake up from, hoping that someone would tap her to wake up and say it's all not true, that it was just a dream, an illusion of some sort. He had been as vague as they come with his explanations when Pam pressed him for details, seeking closure, wanting to know why he suddenly walked away when everything seemed fine between them. We later learned that he had been lured back by his ex after she had gotten wind of their thriving relationship. And as Pam further explained, he noted that he felt more in love with Audrey than he felt with my friend. As an apparent show of good faith, and in the name of saintism, Preston had denoted, in what passed off as a mere footnote to her, that I love you so much to have you played. I didn't want to be that kind of guy, so I decided that it was better for me to break away. It's been more than 2 years since the heartbreak, but Pam recounts it like it was yesterday. She has obviously moved on, to a larger extent, but the Preston-inflicted scars still reign within her, manifested in the way she sometimes treats those that attempt to court her in the name of self-preservation. Hi everyone, this is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback. And if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time, take care.